This is freaky.
No, I guess it finished.
Looks like it did.
Sure did.
Actually, Abe, I just went back on YouTube right now. Did you start another live?
It's the same one.
Yeah,
Can you see me?
I can still see you on Restream. Yeah.
Yeah, but not on YouTube, huh?
Well, no, it says you just started another live.
Let me check.
Yeah, like I'm seeing a new live on YouTube right now. I'm looking at my through my tablet. Hey, yeah. Anybody from the last stream? For some reason, we just got randomly cut off, and Abe apparently had us start a new stream on YouTube. We were still going on Restream on the last stream, so that's just weird.
It, it's not showing me okay, there it is.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the comments
Now,
now.
no.
Wow, this is crazy, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. Alan, that was not a time lag. We just got cut off. We just got kicked out of YouTube for some reason.
I guess Bigfoot believers don't like me talking about Bigfoot.
Bigfoot
Something
bleep.
happened.
Yeah.
Well, about the film of the person in costume.
Yeah.
Yes, that's like I think last time the same thing happened.
Oh yeah, we were going some issue. We were going through some issues.
I just started it up on the same one we're here in Restream, and I said screw it.
Yeah.
I don't know how long I've been live. It tell me we almost made the 2 hour marker.
Yeah. We were just about to hit the 2 hour marker, and then everything just happened. And it happened while we were talking about Patty, and you were going over some of your thoughts, and then Alan asked me my asked me if it was fake or not, or at least my opinion on it, at least.
Yeah, and I was saying what I think about it. That they should be honest about it. Stop the lie or the BS and say the truth. Then I guess we get kicked out by people are listening or tuning in.
Yeah, and I was also pointing out all the stuff that, like, some of these encounters, also that Patty doesn't show any of the supernatural encounters, or it's like some of the more basic encounters where these Bigfoot supposedly run away from people, where Patty just decided to walk away instead of run. Like,
Walk away and look.
yeah, and look back. That too.
Is like a pimp walk. I think keep on stepping. I think is a term where the people used to have the suits back in the day, and I think it's pimping or trumping or I don't know something stepping. But yeah, the walk by itself gives it away. It,
Hmm.
it, it doesn't even walk beastly.
There's another thing I gotta point out about what was the name? All right, Patty. Most of these Bigfoot, when they're walking, their heads go okay. Our heads go up and down when we walk because that's how we do it, especially when we do the steps. Some of these encounters, when they walk, their heads don't move at all because apparently they have some kind of gait or something with their feet or spine, whatever the heck you want to call it. So it's more smooth for them. So they don't really move their heads up and down like we do. It's just plain like almost like they're moonwalking, sort of. But instead of like doing the whole sliding thing, it's just them walking normally. So yeah, that. But what happened a few minutes ago? That was weird.
Yeah, yeah, because people listen to what I'm saying. I'm a little bit controversial here, but there's nothing wrong with being a little bit controversial. Just speaking the truth of what you think about it, and which I can hear. I mean, God, for God's sake, it's spiritual encrypted encounters. It's my own channel. Why can't we just speak about it freely? You know?
And even then, Abe, you don't have as many subscribers compared to some other people. You're relatively small, so why even affect you directly? That's another thing. You're not like one of these bigger channels either. You're actually on a bit of a small side. No offense, but
Yeah,
like, why even bother messing with you to begin with? There's really no point.
because I'm speaking the truth, man. That's why I'm speaking the truth about it. And you know, if the government can believe, make people believe that the what was it? We'll call those the dire wolf is still is back in extinction because they
Oh,
recreated it.
yeah, I know a bit about that. I
Now,
actually,
I'm just saying, if they can make people believe in UFOs and Bigfoots and all that,
yeah, the whole
uh,
thing, that is no freaking dire wolf. That is not a dire wolf. In my opinion, that's just like a controlled mutation experiment. The real dire wolf is gonna stay dead. That's fact.
yeah. All I'm saying is you just got to be careful what you're believing in, and you know, yeah, I'm thinking people might get upset because of what I'm saying, but I mean, look at the walk, man. It's literally a person walk.
Yep.
Hillbilly, saying it in good terms, a hillbilly walk. A person in costume. That's why they kept the film in a distance so you won't be able to see that it's a person in costume. Maybe you're close up. And like you said, Andres, you know, even the stride itself, just the stride itself, it's not no long stride.
No,
Look at
even
look at the stride. It's not a long stride.
it's not. Most of these Bigfoot, their legs are all sure. Their legs are always short, but for how big these things are, they can make a pretty awfully long a long stride. It takes like more than a few. Even a big person will have to do at least 2 steps or more in just a single one of their strides. Patty's strides look short.
Like a person walk, like a person stride. That's what it looks like. Even if it was a basketball player, you know, who's a somebody that's 7'9", it still wouldn't look as if you were put a basketball player in the same position that distance. The basketball player would probably be taller than Bigfoot. If you were lining it up with a person standing there where he was supposedly doing his walk, right, with the same kind of equipment, the basketball player would probably be taller because that would mean that it's a person in costume. I know some people get upset. I'm not trying to anger anybody. I'm just saying my opinion of the Patterson film. Not saying that there ain't things out there that don't exist, which I believe there are. You know, when I talk about the DDN, disembodied demonic Nephilim, or chip skinwalkers, or the Wind IGO, they're out there because I've seen them. But I'm just about the Patterson film. Yeah, to me, growing up at the time frame when it came out, seeing old movies and people in costume, it literally looks like the costumes of back in the day. But I'm not saying that other things don't exist. That they have the benefit, take the ability to manifest to look like a Sasquatch or a dogman. They manifest to what you're believing in. They have the abilities to go into trees because they're spirits. You know, something that's in the flesh, it's not going to be able to go into a tree because if it runs into the tree, it's going to get knocked out. But if it's a spirit, then it can go through objects. And I think that's what we're dealing with. Alan, I don't have to see any extra footage or any kind of documentary to understand that the Patterson film is, to me, that it's fraudulent. It's a hoax, just like certain other individuals that done the same thing. Put on makeup, pretend to be a Bigfoot. What was the guy's name? Todd Standing. There's another guy right there. And then, of course, if you look now, there's a lot of people wearing costumes, pretending to be Bigfoots, and then you got AI involved now.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that it's just now if they were to be able to capture a little adolescent or baby Bigfoot, right? But even then, we've seen videos of people capturing little Bigfoots, but it's little kids in costume. I think I've seen the family that does that. It's a father and I think it was a daughter and a son that was dressing up as a family of Bigfoots.
Alan, I have not personally seen the documentary what you're talking about, but I don't. I will always be on the fence about the Patterson film because of my own issues with it and my own set of beliefs that are still, in a sense, being formed. But I'm more on the spiritual side, mostly because of all the encounters I heard from PTRT and Abe about Christ always being the one to help them get them out of the jam, showing that these beings and have will always have a foot inside the spiritual realm more than they will in the physical realm here, in my opinion. I can't speak for everyone else, but that's what my beliefs are right now. And just like Wolf said earlier on his live, it won't really affect me really anymore because everybody will always have their own opinions. That's just
Yeah.
mine. And some people obviously hold Patterson Given film, and they put that on a very high pedestal. But I never really did. I wasn't really into that film particularly, mostly because I want to see some actual film that's more close up. Like, say, you might do like a freaking lion or leopard in the wild, where some of these people can get real close to the lions, get up close to the vehicle, and that sort of stuff. Maybe then I might believe it was more physical, but until it's like that, forget it. At least for me.
And you know what? It's the people within the Bigfoot community that's doing their own damage to themselves, especially we're continuing to wear the costumes, uh, pretending to be Bigfoots. They're just ruining the. If there was some kind of reputation, they're ruining it already. Just by pretending to be a Bigfoot,
Oh yeah, that's
or how many people have we known in the past that they said, "Hey, we got proof of Bigfoot. We got his body, and it was a hoax." They're the ones that done messed any kind of. If there was any kind of credibility, they messed it up a long time ago.
yeah. Not to mention, they always seem to be stuck on one aspect of this being, which is the physical. And like I said before, they're constantly tearing each other down. And I'm not sure if you looked at any of Wolf's posts lately, but there was like one group that showed up there that's just like they're atheists. They strictly believe in
Yeah,
flesh and blood. This, like in some other groups, was slowly created to just always combat the spiritual side of it. They never take that part into account. But if Vic was supposedly an evolutionary being, why do you constantly get reports of them being able to do all the supernatural stuff? They just focus on one aspect. They shouldn't do that. And not to mention the physical people always beat the crap out of, at least verbally,